You step into the Central Highlands with the 1st Cavalry Division in 1966, near Pleiku, and the fight starts inside your body first. The heat clamps down on your chest. The rucksack drags your shoulders forward. Your tongue goes dry before noon. A man drops to a knee, shaking, and the platoon keeps moving because stopping makes you a target. Army Medical Weekly summaries in Vietnam tracked this as disease and non-battle injury, men removed before contact. One infantryman later recalled, paraphrased, "I was finished before we met the enemy." In this briefing, we're breaking down 4 physical failures that took men out early and why they kept coming. What hits you first is sustained load and heat that never resets. You're carrying roughly 60 to 80 pounds, ammo, water, radio batteries, claymores, then climbing slick ground under canopy where air barely moves. In the Ia Drong area, patrols in 1965 and 1966 could push 8 to 12 miles in a day, and your pulse doesn't come down during short halts. Here's what most people miss. The strain begins in the first week, not the 3rd month. Unit journals recorded men falling out on approach marches, then being redistributed like broken gear. After-action reports noted that exhaustion slowed columns and widened spacing, making control harder. A veteran later recalled, paraphrased, "My legs went numb, but I kept stepping." The psychological effect is immediate shame and anger, at yourself, at the weight, at the pace. After that, return was unlikely. And once your body is behind the mission, the next failure becomes unavoidable. And once you realize the weight is permanent, dehydration starts making decisions for you. You carry limited water, often a couple of canteens and maybe a bladder if you're lucky. Yet you're losing liters through sweat in 90 to 100-degree heat. This is when it goes wrong. Cramps begin in the calves, then the hands, then the whole body locks up during a halt. Army medical logs described heat exhaustion cases with confusion, vomiting, and collapse, especially in the first 10 to 14 days in country when men were still adjusting. Evacuation hospital admission notes repeatedly mention heat casualty and dehydration as reasons for removal from the field. A medic later recalled, paraphrased, "Their eyes went flat. They couldn't answer simple questions." Fear turns into quiet panic because you can feel your judgment thinning. Once evacuated, many didn't come back, and the weakened judgment doesn't stay contained. It sets up injuries that don't look dramatic until they end a tour. And when judgment slips, your feet become the slow injury that kills performance. You live in wet boots. The skin softens, splits, and then infection moves in. In 1967 and 1968, units working low ground in places like the Mekong Delta, often tied to 9th Infantry Division operations, reported persistent foot problems from immersion, fungus, and rotting skin, the kind that makes every step a decision. Here's where it turned deadly. Men kept walking on open sores because the patrol couldn't stop, and the wound turned into swelling, fever, and a limp that pulled a whole squad's pace down. Army preventive medicine reports and sick call records repeatedly described jungle rot and immersion injuries as routine, not rare. A veteran later recalled, paraphrased, "My boot was full of blood and I didn't say it." The psychological effect becomes hypervigilance about pain, listening to your body while trying not to show it. After that, mission-capable status often didn't return. And once a man can't move, the strain shifts upward into the back and knees, where the damage becomes harder to hide. And when the feet fail, the spine and joints start taking the load they weren't built to carry. You compensate without thinking, shorter steps, twisted hips, leaning forward, and the back tightens until you can't straighten up after a halt. In 1967, during hard operations around Dak To, where elements of the 173rd Airborne fought and moved through steep terrain, men were often marching, digging, and carrying wounded under load for hours at a time. Evacuation hospital summaries recorded severe sprains, back injuries, and knee damage that removed men for weeks, sometimes permanently, without a single round fired in anger. This is what forced units to adapt. Leaders redistributed radios, machine gun ammo, and extra water to keep the column moving, which meant someone else broke down faster. A veteran later recalled, paraphrased, "I lifted my pack and something tore. I couldn't breathe." The psychological effect is anger and resignation because pain becomes the daily baseline. From that point on, he wasn't mission capable. And when pain and fatigue become normal, illness finds the opening that finishes the job. And once illness starts, it doesn't care whether you've seen combat yet. Diarrhea, fever, and respiratory infections hit men already running on depleted sleep and calories. Army medical statistics in Vietnam repeatedly listed gastrointestinal illness among the leading causes of non-battle medical visits and evacuations, especially during sustained field operations. In coastal areas and base regions like Da Nang in 1968, unit records describe outbreaks that pulled multiple men off the line at once. Weak, dizzy, dropping weight fast. 10 pounds can vanish in a couple of weeks when you can't keep food down and you're still humping gear. This is where it becomes a survival problem. Dehydration returns, heat injuries worsen, and the body can't repair itself. A veteran later recalled, paraphrased, "I wasn't wounded, I was emptied out." The psychological effect is fear of being seen as useless and fear of dying from something no one can shoot back at. After that, return was unlikely, and that unresolved threat followed men even when they finally did reach a fight. By the time contact came, a portion of the platoon had already been reduced, quietly, by heat, water loss, ruined feet, damaged backs, and sickness that moved faster than any enemy unit. The war didn't wait for your body to adjust. It demanded movement now, judgment now, endurance now. What stayed with many men wasn't only firefights, it was the moment they realized they could be taken out without a wound, without a medal, without a story anyone wanted to hear. Some came back to the field, some didn't. And long after Vietnam, a lot of them remembered that first collapse on a trail, the instant the body said no, and how everything after that became harder to recover.